feel guilty for the guilt.
And we really felt guilty about not
couldn't take care of her.
Enough, isn't enough. I didn't really know what to do.
I have a full-time job I wish I had some more time for.
With Alzheimer's, all you really get to do is to watch your parent or your grandparent lose their mind. And that's, to me, that I felt guilty all the time.
Families and caregivers, I mean, it could be a spouse, it could be a sibling, it could be a daughter or son. The guilt affects them a lot when they're taking care of them at home because they feel like they should be able to handle that. They should be able to take care of them until they pass. And when they can't, because it is so physically and mentally exhausting, it is very hard on them because they feel like they should be able to handle that burden. When you have them placed in a home, they feel guilty because they feel like they're abandoning them or they're locking them up. A lot of times families do not place a loved one until they are mentally and physically exhausted.
This person who you knew so well is different and is gone. And I think sometimes you feel guilty for having that emotion with them because you think they can't help it. And so sometimes I would just get so frustrated, and then I would feel guilty about feeling frustrated because I would just think, this is my mom and I love her so much, and I just need to be kind, I need to be good, I need to be helpful and even keel, and I need to do what she needs me to do. And yet that's not who we are as people. We can't continually keep that up, but I would feel really guilty about that afterwards.
Yeah, no, I think that's common, and I think that my mom was an awesome caregiver, and I feel like I did really well for my grandma too, but we both felt guilty about what we needed to do more. And the thing is, my grandma had, looking back, she was taken care of beautifully. Like, she entered a facility at the very end, and it was an Alzheimer's facility with really loving people. She made a really great connection with this other woman there, and they became best friends. They both had Alzheimer's, and she had a, like, thinking about the alternative, like if we hadn't tried so hard, it could have been a lot different. So, like, I don't know, I think it's easier to think of what you're not doing for them instead of thinking, well, what, in a parallel universe.
Oh, exactly.
You know what? I'm getting where I can't even remember people's names. I had so many grapes this year on my grapevine.
Does it seem like you're grounded or something? Like a little...
I am grounded. If I didn't go out and take my walks, I'd have to stay home all the time except when Billy picked me up. And that's not fun. Yeah, like I'm her kid instead of her mother.
Here I'm not letting her drive, which she doesn't like, but yet she taught me to drive, and it's rough for everybody.
I really, really do like it, so I would like to be able to drive it. But she refuses to let me do it.
It's rough for everybody, and you have to stay strong because she's scared, and I don't have any answers for her yet. I wish I did. But emotionally, it's really hitting her. She's in depression, and she is on an antidepressant now, so we're trying to see if that will work. But it's just sad, and I do have a full-time job I wish I had some more time for. Probably the worst thing was after she went into assisted living. She was so confused and she kept wanting to go home, and I couldn't take her home. That was probably the worst guilt, because it's something that couldn't be helped and it was the best for her. I really shouldn't have felt guilty about it, but I did. If I would have had more education and more helpful things at the beginning, I just kind of grandfathered myself through, and without really finding out as much as I should have. And it made it harder for me.
Get the tools you need to handle the job, because if you don't have the tools to do the job right, you're not going to be able to handle it.
If they knew that they weren't alone and it was common and everybody was feeling it that went through the same thing, it would probably help. That's probably why support groups are a good idea.
Always take care of yourself, because if you become sick, if your blood pressure goes up, if you start getting sick from autoimmune diseases, because you might catch colds easier if you're stressed more, then you can't really care for that person. So you got to take care of you first. Try to find avenues to get away for a little while, get someone to come in and sit with them so you can go shopping, so you can get your hair done, go to the movies, go have lunch with a friend, anything to give yourself some time away.
When I was younger, when I was 18, both my mom and dad said to me, we don't want to be vegetables. We don't want to live like that. And so if anything ever happens to us and we're vegetables, pull the plug. And they were serious. They were like, Jill, pull the plug. And which I think is like a really heavy thing to put on an 18-year-old. But at the same time, I got it. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. I understand. Because that's how I feel too. And so all this time that my mom was in the facility and she was not living any kind of quality of life, any good kind of quality of life. Her quality of life was horrible, really. And I knew that she would not want to experience that. If she knew what she was going through, she wouldn't want to be alive for that. And yet, there's no plug to pull. There's nothing to do.
When you were pregnant with me, did you ever think I might be a boy, or were you sure I was going to be a girl?
No, I didn't know, and I didn't want to know.
Sounds like
Okay, now what am I supposed to say? You've said everything.
Well, no, well, you have to make
We enjoy our little grandkids. They're great.
That's pretty. Grandma, look at this hat behind you. Emily, grab the hat. Grandma.
Give Grandma her baby.
Grandma. Grandma. Look at your baby.
Did you know that you're going to be 87 years old next time? In a month and a half? 2 months, really. You're going to be 87. Did you know that? No?
You know, it's almost one way that I kind of came to terms with it was looking at my mom as she saw me when I was 4. She had to do everything for me. And so if I could look at it that way and see her as kind of my child instead of my mother, it helped me to be more willing and open and compassionate towards her. And I think that helped alleviate the guilt a little bit because it made me less frustrated.
If caregivers felt guilty and felt ashamed and had to live with those feelings, it could be lessened if they knew that it gets kind of inevitable if you care about someone.